No, you got one, sure.
Okay.
Okay, we can go
Okay.
like this. Welcome to this discussion on structured group interviews with Linda Walker. She is our Family and Consumer Science facilitator in the CR project here, and I'm Rod McQuality, project coordinator for the CR project. So let's begin our discussion. Linda, can you tell us what SGI really stands for?
It stands for Structured Group Interview.
And the purpose for the SGI then is what?
The purpose of the SGI is to assemble a group of business representatives in a specific content area. And their task is to identify skills necessary to perform their respective jobs.
Could you give us an example of what a typical SGI would look like?
Well, as I said, SGIs are done in specific content areas. For example, we recently did a mini SGI in the area of nutrition. And the purpose of that was to fill in gaps in nutrition lessons in the Foods, Nutrition, and Culinary Arts lesson library. The panel that was pulled together involved or included registered dietitians from a major hospital, a registered dietitian from an assisted living complex, and a registered dietitian who works with teachers through the St. Louis Dairy Council. They were supposed to compile information on skills necessary to perform their jobs. And a full-blown SGI usually consists of 6 to 10 business representatives, as well as 3 to 4 teachers the first day and 6 to 10 teachers the second day.
Kind of answered my next question already, but what about how long does an SGI last? You said that was, the SGI itself lasts how long?
The SGI typically lasts 2 days. If it's what we call a full-blown SGI, it's 2 days. The one that I just described was a mini SGI because we were only generating 20 to 25 lessons. So we completed that process in 1 day.
Well, you talked about a mini one and a full-blown one. You talk about the 1 day process. What happens after that? Are we done then at that point?
No, after the first day, the business people aren't done, but the facilitator compiles that information, and the second day, a group of teachers that are experts in that content area are brought in. The task of those teachers is to look at that information that was generated the previous day, and then they suggest lesson titles, and that's how we come up with the titles of the lessons that are then written.
When we talk about these lessons, we've talked about the business people. You have this team of teachers that are there with them. How do we get to this final product then, and how long does it take to, or I guess first of all, how are these lessons actually written then? You talked about the topic, but so how are the lessons written?
Well, the teachers are written by secondary teachers from Illinois who are experts in the content area that we did the SGI in. And those teachers are hired and contracted and trained by CART.
Okay, great. So once they completed that work, then so they've written the lesson. So then we're ready. We're done with the process.
No, not really. CART then hires their own people to write PowerPoints and e-units. And an e-unit is 5 to 6 pages of supplemental information that goes along with each respective lesson. And then CART edits all of that information, and then it is posted to MyCART.
Well, this sounds like a very extensive process, starting with the original SGI that you sat down with business leaders and teachers, and it goes for review and it goes to writers. What's the time frame from when an SGI started to when teachers would actually see in MyCART that lesson? Is there a typical timeline?
That's a good question, and it depends on several factors. First of all, if they have teachers available to write those lessons, and if CART's schedule is okay, and if the funding is available, it is possible to get those lessons posted in 3 to 4 months. Typically, though, I would say that almost all the lessons from the SGI to the time they're posted would appear within at least a year.
Well, hopefully that will give us a little bit of background on what an SGI is and what it involves, and answer some questions that you may have. Thank you, Linda.
You're welcome. We'll check that out. That wouldn't be too bad.
I'm wondering how loud, I got to thinking, I wonder if we spoke loud enough.
Oh, well.